la. Juice is wild. Juice is wild, Daily Hustle. They're all running together these days. They're pretty much the same fucking thing. Regardless, we come on here each and every single morning. And not only do we salute our boys, Miguelito Sandieguito, who's not with us today, Will the Thrill Clark, who's not with us today, but he will be with us tomorrow. But we come on here and we like to celebrate each and every one of you along with our dudes properly. Yes, 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 yes. Woo! Remember this, folks. When we are juiceful, we are useful. And when we are juiceless, we're fucking useless. A very pleasant good morning to you. It is a blizzard outside. I'm not sure if you guys can really tell. Let's try to show you guys what's going on. I mean, this is full-blown whiteout conditions. I mean, this is Stormy Byrnes on the scene reporting. And folks, stay safe out there. I got to imagine chain control is going to be back. And let's not look past the Marv Levy jersey. 4-time AFC champs. So, anyhow, this has been a hell of a weather weekend here at No Filter headquarters, Studio 22. We got probably no less than 2 feet of snow over the weekend. We had a gorgeous day yesterday, no snow at all. And then today, it was just out of the blue. I didn't realize that. I saw something on the news last night that, hey, it potentially could snow. I did not think whiteout conditions. I mean, I can't see a couple hundred feet out there. And then when the wind picks up, you can't see 30 feet in front of you. So really, really cool, unless you got to drive to go pick up your daughter at the airport, which is what Tara and I will be doing shortly. So that is the reason for the prompt on-time daily hustle. I'm going to try to do a little better with that anyway. All right, let's not forget our title sponsor, Bet Online, the #1 online gambling destination for all the latest news, scores, odds, predictions, whatever else you need. Go to Bet Online. NBA, NFL, college football playoffs coming up, MLB prop bets. If all of a sudden you think, hey, obviously it might be the Yankees, it might be the Mets, whoever you want to bet on for futures bets. You want to play slot games, over 150 slot games. They got online poker, whatever you need. Bet Online, your #1 gambling destination. Type in the promo code BLEAV, capital BLEAV. Joe, good morning to you. Very pleasant good morning. Joe, you're out there in Arizona, aren't you? I mean, you don't see shit like this out in AZ. I guess maybe up in Flagstaff. But my goodness, this is really cool. It's honestly one of the reasons why I live here. I fucking love it. You got to be cautious. I think there's certain things that come with the extreme weather. We've been really diligent, just shoveling, snow blowing the balconies, the decks, keeping them clear, trying to remove as much snow as possible as it comes. What's crazy with all these storms, the atmospheric rivers. I mean, there was a tornado in Scotts Valley, a fucking tornado. So weather patterns are certainly changing. I think we just need to make sure we stay diligent and stay prepared. Okay, the Daily Hustle email communication that just went out. I mean, this is nuts. It's fucking nuts. Look at this. Look at this. This is a full-blown hey guys, Stormy Byrnes. I'm sad. I can't unlatch this thing and get out there into the elements. I mean, that's where I think we have our biggest impact, right? When I'm able to get out there, go full Stormy Byrnes, that's what makes this exciting. Now, unfortunately, this camera is tied to the computer, so not going to be able to do that. But I will be able to read you guys today's Daily Hustle. Buenos dias. Today is Monday, December 16th, and it just so happens to be my eldest daughter, Chloe's, aka Peanut's 16th birthday. Daily Hustle quote of the day. I want my daughter to be kind, but I also want her to know it's okay to punch somebody. Excuse me. I want my daughter to be kind, but I also want her to know it's okay to throat punch somebody if she needs to. Daily Hustle translation. When Chloe was born, the doctor asked me if I wanted to cut the umbilical cord. After politely declining, the doc sipped away and then somehow fumbled the clamp and lost control of the cord at the same time. Chaos ensued as the umbilical cord flopped around like a loose fire hose, spraying the room and everyone in it. When it was over, it literally looked like some sort of crime scene. And it was pretty safe to say there was a bit of panic with everyone except one person. Chloe was completely unfazed. I will never forget the moment I locked eyes with her right after the incident. She had this incredible sense of calm and curiosity. And not shockingly, that's how she has attacked life ever since. Chloe has always been an avid reader, a ridiculously good student, and for her age, a top national ski racer that has had an incredible opportunity to travel the world. She was an old soul who is so wise beyond her years that these days I often find myself going to her for advice. That's the truth, by the way. Look, parenting is difficult, and Chloe, as well as my two others, are far from perfect. That said, I just want to take this daily hustle to celebrate my kind, smart, funny, witty, hard charging, intellectual badass on her 16th birthday. Peanut, I would love to say how proud I am of the person you have turned out to be, but that would imply me taking some sort of credit. So instead, I just want to say thank you. I like to think your mother and I have had a positive impact, but you have always done you. And ironically, you is far better than any dad could have ever dreamed of. And I couldn't be any more grateful. As Great Pa would always say, the only two things he could give us in life that nobody could ever take away is education and experience. Just make sure to always keep learning, keep charging, and if anybody ever messes with you, punch them in the fucking throat. Love you, Dad. P.S. Click pick below for an IG post and blue link for today. Deuces Wild Daily Hustle award winning podcast. So, yeah, it was a wild day 16 years ago. I mean, obviously, never forget it. I was never into cutting the umbilical cord. We're not interested. That's the doctor's job. Why do I have to do it? I wanted to be there, certainly. I didn't need to see all the gory either. Like it's like I like to stay above the curtain. Part of it, I think, by the time we got to Colton, who was our third, I took a peek, and I kind of want to see a little bit, but I had a relationship to protect as well. I think any guy would go ahead and understand that. So, yeah, Chloe she's special, and I think that we as parents, I don't think we raised her any different than we raised Callie, than we raised Colton. They're all very different, though. And I think it was one of the things my dad told me. And when it came to me and my sister, he's like, look, he goes, I could have raised you guys, the same way. And, boy and a girl's a little bit different. But he goes, the one thing I know is that, you guys are two completely different people. And I think that's the other thing, we as parents too often attach our self-worth to our kids and our kids' success. And I think we need to be careful with that. I think that we as parents need to do everything we can do to put our kids in position to succeed. But as they get older, their success in life, in athletics, and in school, it's not necessarily up to us. It's going to be up to them and the work that they're willing to put in. And also who they ultimately become as people is not up to us. It's up to them. Now, I would encourage your children, my children, all children, and just people in general to surround yourself with great people. I think there is some truth to the fact that you are the sum of the 5 people you hang out with most. And what's interesting with that is I think Chloe did get a lot from us and from our family. And I think that she is a reader, and there's something to that. And I wasn't a reader at that young age, which is crazy because I'm the ultimate reader now. But I think she certainly got a nice head start scholastically because of that. And I have two other kids that aren't readers. So, look, do what you can, but you can't force anything. And the other thing is, straight A student, it's wildly impressive work that she, the grades are one thing, but if you go down in her room and you look at like, this is my science charts, this is my math charts, this is my English, this is my essay. Like, she's so awesomely organized that there's a reason. Like, success leaves clues, right? And so I've tried to encourage the other two, like, look what she's doing. It's not that she's smarter. She's smart, but so are you guys. Like, you guys have the ability to do this. So anyhow, I think more than anything, I can't tell you guys to now go to her, and this advice thing is real. And typically what I like to ask her is say how to deal with one of my other two kids who have hit this early teen phase where I don't know if their parents are no longer cool, but they have all the answers and it can be tough. Well, Chloe, I think, did go through that phase and she's 16 now, right? So she probably, the 13, 14 were tough, but I would say most like 12, 13 were difficult. The 13, 14, or excuse me, the 14, 15 were fantastic. And my mom used to always tell me this about my sister. I just, of course, I look back, I think I was the perfect child. But my mom used to say, she's like, she'll come back. And this is when I was first dealing with Chloe. And I don't know if the rebellion is not the right word, but there definitely is this sort of disconnect. And she did. And not only did she come back, but I think it's you go through this phase, and I feel like I'm going through it with Colton a little bit right now. All of a sudden, they become your buddies. And the same thing with Callie, too. It's not all the time with those two, right? But it's with Chloe now, this is like a real friendship. And, honey, happy birthday. I love you. I know you don't watch the Daily Hustle. Probably will never see this, but yeah, proud's the right word, but at the same time, and I want to be cautious with that because pride is, oh, I'm really proud of her, like I'm the one that created. Like, no, I think I helped. I think we with some guidance, Tara and I both did what we could, but no, she's become who she is because of her ability to make decisions on her own, to act independently, to put herself in that position to succeed. So, honey, I love you. Happy B Day. All right, onward and upward here. Monday, top 5 stories. This one here, I could not ignore. These orcas out in the Northwest are wearing salmon as hats. What the fuck is right? So this was first observed in the 1980s. It was a fad of orcas swimming around with dead salmon on their foreheads off of Washington State. Now, the fad faded, but apparently it's back. It says many human infatuations involve toys, and the same is true for orcas. Salmon hats are one of several whale fads that have come and gone over the years. The recent phenomenon of orcas downing boats in Strait of Gibraltar may be a form of play or social learning. In each case, the behavior trended over the course of a season before fizzling out. In my opinion, it's stretched to say that the salmon hat is an even greater fad And it goes back to a single photo, which is like all of a sudden caught this attention. But basically, I don't know if they're doing it to impress their mates or what's going on. But this is a salmon, a dead salmon. I mean, that's a big ass fucking salmon on top of an orca. So they're wearing it around as a hat. Orcas are smart, really, really smart. So it is not Wilderness Wednesday, but we certainly needed to celebrate that to kick off our week. Okay, scores from yesterday around the NFL. You had the game of the day. The Buffalo Bills go into Detroit and they fucking dominate. Josh Allen is a savage. There's no other way to put it. He is the most valuable player of the National Football League. He is the best player and, in my humble opinion, on the best team. Fuck off, Kansas City. All due respect. To be the champs, you got to beat the champs, and it's going to have to go through Kansas City once again this playoff season. But if I'm the Buffalo Bills, I got one goal on my mind, and that's winning the Super Bowl in New Orleans. They looked fantastic. They beat the Lions after the Lions had won 12 straight games. Cowboys yesterday, 30-14 over the Panthers. Chiefs, 21-7 over the Browns. Texans, 2012 over the Giuseppe Pepe Manuele's Fins. It was the Jets, 32-25 over the Jags. The Jets were down early in that game. It was just fucking chaos. Aaron Rodgers and the New York Jets finally get a win. They're just 4-10 on the season. Commanders, they tried to blow it, but they end up holding on in New Orleans, 20-19 victory. The New York Football Giants got beat up by Lamar Jackson. I mean, you certainly can make a case for Lamar Jackson as the MVP, who had a huge day for the Ravens. 35-14 was that final. The Bengals 37-27 over the Titans. Cardinals 30-17 over the Pats. In Arizona, it was the Colts getting destroyed by the Broncos. I had destroyed, a strong word, 31-13. The Bucks 40-17. That was probably the surprise score of the day over the Chargers. I really like the Chargers, but for whatever reason, it did not work out yesterday, and the Bucks just fucking dominated. The Eagles 27-13 over the Steelers in a big game of a couple of teams that will be vying for a Super Bowl spot. I'll tell you what, I mean, this is going to be interesting in the NFC. I mean, this is there's just several teams that can have taken this down. I like the Eagles. I like Minnesota. I like Detroit. I don't love Detroit, especially watching Buffalo cut them up yesterday. So, anyhow, this is the NFL scores tonight. We have the Bears at the Vikings. So we have a double Monday Night Football and the Falcons at the Raiders. Holy shit. Seriously? The Falcons at the Raiders, 6-7 Falcons at the Las Vegas Raiders. Raiders are trying to get the first pick of the draft. They don't need to be doing anything stupid like going out and winning this game. That just would not be good. Okay, speaking of Josh Allen, here we go. It says, who leads the MVP race? Allen or Lamar? It says Week 15's early Sunday action showed us that even struggling teams still have fight in them. The Saints took the Commanders down to the wire. The Cowboys apparently took offense to their underdog status in Carolina. I didn't understand that. Cowboys were getting 5.5. It made zero fucking sense. I mean, Carolina, should they be favored against anybody? No, absolutely not. And then it says the Jets won a back-and-forth battle in Jacksonville. All right, it says, after what Josh Allen did in Detroit, Lamar Jackson's 5-touchdown day in East Rutherford, who is your MVP at this point? I don't even think it's a question. I think it's Josh Allen. But look, you go on and on and on. I mean, we could dive into the numbers, but Lamar's a fucking beast too. He really is. You know what's funny? I was looking at the passing stats a couple weeks ago, and you know who leads in everything? Everything. Joe Burrow. everything. Crazy. So this one's interesting right here. Chiefs running back loses more than 80% of his paycheck for a hefty Week 14 fine. So it says the NFL handed out several fines on Saturday, one of the biggest ones of the week, with the Kansas City Chiefs running back Isaiah Pacheco. As a matter of fact, the fine was so big that it's almost going to be like Pacheco played for free in Week 14. The NFL announced that Pacheco was fined $45,000 for an unnecessary roughness play that happened during the Chiefs' 19-17 win over the Chargers in Week 14. Now, Pacheco gets the ball. He runs to the right. Boom. Puts his head down. And that's it. Gets knocked out of bounds. And gets fined $45,000. There wasn't even a penalty on the play. Look, I was a running back in high school. You have 11 dudes on the other side of the ball that are trying to take your head off. So when you have the ball and you're running forward, the one thing I could say is an advantage for the running back is that you can kind of lead in there. Now, what do you want him to do? Run straight up and down like this so he get fucking killed and his ribs broke or his legs taken out? You're supposed to get low. And I was a tall runner. So I knew how to, boom, I'm about to absorb a blow. I want to give the blow too. This is the stupidest fucking fine in the history of the NFL. This is crazy. It says Pacheco was on his rookie deal, and because of that, his base salary is $985,000 this year. That number is paid out over 18 weeks, which means Pacheco gets $54,722 per game. With the NFL collecting $45,000, means that Pacheco will be handing over 82% of his paycheck. No fucking way. That is stupid. NFL legend J.J. Watt called out the NFL for handing out such a big fine to someone playing football. Like, it just doesn't make sense. Like, he's just completing the play. There's no way the NFL can levy this. There's no way the Players Association isn't going to fight it. If I'm Pacheco, I'm not paying $1. They misread this. If they want to warn them and say, hey, be careful, we don't want you guys leading with your heads, it's dangerous for everybody, I'm okay with that. But not when it doesn't get called a penalty on the field and not when there wasn't anybody injured in the play. It's just fucking stupid. I do like the NFL trying to protect the players, but this one doesn't make any sense at all. Okay, lastly here, for those of you that still follow the NBA, this is crazy. The Mavericks and the Warriors combined for an NBA record 48 three-pointers. As Klay Thompson goes off against his former team, the Mavs and Warriors combined to make an NBA record 48 three-pointers on Sunday as Dallas pulled out the 143-133 win in San Francisco. The previous mark of 44 had just been tied by the Utah Jazz and Phoenix Suns the night before and was originally set by the Sacramento Kings and the LA Clippers in a 176-175 triple overtime thriller in February of 2023. The Warriors made a franchise record 18 three-pointers in the first half on Sunday, and the 27 threes for the game tied the most in franchise history. I mean, this is getting out of control. It's just turning into a three-point contest. And it's not like I'm any sort of basketball purist. I really don't give a shit that much. I'll root for the Warriors when they're in the playoffs, and Steph's an easy guy to root for. And he certainly is responsible for the three-point revolution. At least one of the guys that would be the face of it, right? Well, I'll say this. You're losing a lot of fans. You really are. And I don't know what they're going to have to do, but it would probably make sense to move the fucking line back. It's now to the point that all these players do is practice three-pointers. So that mid-range jump shot is almost irrelevant. There's not a lot of basketball getting played. It's just up and down and casting off. Look, once again, I'm not this crazy basketball purist, I don't watch a ton of NBA. If I find a game in the last 5 minutes and it's close, I'll watch that. Other than that, it's just seeing some highlights and stuff. But they got to do something because guys like Tom Tolbert have told me, like, Byrnesy, it's pretty tough to watch. And you know what he does for a living? He's an NBA analyst. He does Warriors games. So I'd love to get Tom on here. As a matter of fact, I'm asking him to come on tomorrow. I want to hear his take on this because it's getting fucking absurd. Now, I did go to a Harlem Globetrotters game a couple years ago when I was at the Bananas. I wanted to see the production and everything else. And they literally had one guy cast it off from half court. And I think he hit 7 in a row. It was fucking wild. So that's pretty much what the NBA is turning into. If you're into that sort of thing, hey, you're into that sort of thing. If not, then regardless, you need to make some adjustments. And it's got to be like, I don't know if you want to put a 4-pointer out there too. So you move the 3-point line back. You move. Let's make a 4-pointer. I mean, anything in the paint should actually be worth more these days. All right, let's check MLB just because before we go off today. I did get a notification recently. Let's see here. The top news stories right now on MLB.com. They have baseball's best base runner. It's exactly what I want to get into. It says, who is baseball's best base runner? Statcast's newest metric tells us a stolen base as well. Stolen the headlines in MLB over the last few seasons. The new pitch timer pickoff rules have sparked steals back to a level not seen in a long time. Superstars are running down milestones. Ronald Acuna went 40-70. Shohei Ohtani went 50-50. Electric phenoms like Bobby Witt Jr., Corbin Carroll, and Ellie De La Cruz are bursting onto the scene with 40, 50, and 60 steal seasons. Base running is taking center stage, and now we have a way to look at who is the best. Statcast now has a complete set of base running leaderboards, one for base stealing, one for extra bases taken, and one for overall base running value. All three are on Baseball Savant with data going back to 2016 season. The extra bases taken leader, which shows who's the most opportunistic at advancing extra bases on balls in play, was already available, but the base stealing and base running value leaderboards are brand new. We've never had a Statcast stat measure base stealing skill. Now we can. Let's see here. Let's get into it. Let's dive into who stands out among MLB base runners. Here are 10 key stats from Statcast's new base stealing and base running value leaderboards. Number 1, Ellie De La Cruz was the most aggressive base stealer in 2024. 2 base runners define the 2024 season. De La Cruz led the majors with 67 steals, and Ohtani became the first player in MLB history to go 50-50. So it's no surprise that those two are standouts in the Statcast leaderboard. Yeah, let's take a look. So this is Ellie De La Cruz on top, then Ohtani, then Bryce Terang, Victor Robles, Michael Garcia, David Hamilton, Pete Crow Armstrong. Let's see here. Darian Blanco, Corbin Carroll, and Bryson Scott. But it says the most valuable base stealer here was Ohtani. It was Ohtani, Terang, Victor Robles, Ellie De La Cruz, Michael Garcia, Bryson Stott, David Hamilton, Pete Crow Armstrong again, and Corbin Carroll, along with Jose Ramirez at number 10. And the best all-around base runner was drum roll. You ready for this? Arizona Diamondback fans, Corbin fucking Carroll. That's right. I don't know what these numbers mean, but he is at the top of the list with a 12 rating. Then you got Ohtani at number 2, Michael Garcia from the Royals at 3, Ellie De La Cruz, Victor Robles, Bryce Terang, Jaron Duran, David Hamilton, Pete Crow Armstrong at 9, and then Jose Ramirez. There are your best base runners in MLB. All right, everyone have a fantastic day. Back with another Daily Hustle tomorrow. Deuces Wild tomorrow night. Listening on Apple or Spotify, leave a 5-star review. If you're feeling generous, we appreciate it. If you want to write something too, it'd be cool. All right. See ya.